Subpoenas are reportedly being sent to Ashton Kutcher and his ex-wife Demi Moore to testify in the case against Diddy. Kutcher is allegedly concerned that his past involvement in the 2001 murder of Ashley Ellerin could be used against him during the proceedings, potentially complicating his legal situation.
And Puffy, or Diddy, have been friends for decades. And they've done movies together, they've hung out together, and he can't say anything because he's one of those guys. Remember I did that story last week, like, where are all Diddy's friends? Because the silence is deafening. A lot of them don't want people looking into their closet, but Ashton doesn't want the blowback that he got with Danny Masterson.
All right, so pretty tepid in how they reply. Meantime, we're hearing Diddy's ex, Cassie, is cooperating with the feds during this investigation.
100%.
What more is she saying, Paula?
She's not saying anything. So here's the deal. She had sued him for sex trafficking, rape, a bunch of horrible laundry list of stuff. And he settled. It's the one case he settled. It was the first case he settled it. I'm hearing for around $30 million. However, just because you settle a case, you may have an NDA, but if the feds come a knocking, you better answer.
And Diddy have been close friends for decades, with Kutcher appearing on tape partying at Diddy's infamous freak-off events surrounded by half-naked women. This raises suspicions, especially given Ashton's history of associating with controversial figures. Just last year, he faced heavy backlash for supporting Danny Masterson, a convicted rapist and child molester. By the time Ashton publicly defended Masterson, the actor had already been convicted. This has led many to question why Ashton would refer to a convicted rapist as his role model and mentor. His continued associations with such individuals fuel public concern and intensify criticism of his actions.
Today for Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis after their video explaining why they wrote letters of support for convicted rapist Danny Masterson. The actors were criticized for calling their former co-star a role model, among other things. And the consensus is that video didn't help.
We are aware of the pain.
Fierce backlash today for Ashton Kutcher and wife Mila Kunis as they apologize for the character letter calling That 70s Show star Danny Masterson an outstanding role model and exceptional older brother figure with a caring nature.
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They were intended for the judge to read, and we're sorry.
One of the women Masterson was sentenced last week of raping, known only as Jane Doe No. 1, is slamming their apology. This video was incredibly insulting and hurtful. Chrissy Bixler, another Masterson accuser, blasted Kutcher. In my opinion, you're just as sick as your mentor.
That 70s Show star Danny Masterson is behind bars and will be for a long, long time. If you did not hear the news, he was sentenced yesterday for a rape case, 2 rapes actually, and got 30 years to life. And there are already concerns about his mental state. As he has begun serving his time, he was remanded immediately in court, and now police are concerned. They are watching him.
This isn't the first time Ashton Kutcher has faced scrutiny for suspicious activities. Looking at his career trajectory, it seems clear that Ashton is deliberately trying to distance himself from his past. There are secrets he's trying to hide, and if a subpoena is issued for him to testify, it could unravel everything. The potential fallout from his past actions could end Ashton's career for good, leaving him with no way to escape the consequences of his choices.
What about Ashton Kutcher? Because Ashton Kutcher, who I believe could possibly just as bad, Ashton Kutcher as well, listen, he's not guilty of this, but he arranged a date, he was late for that date, and when he got to the girl's house, he looked through the window, she was stabbed 47 times. The man ended up getting charged, but Ashton Kutcher was also involved with Abercrombie & Fitch. I think it's Mr. Jeffries who's just been done for trafficking. Ashton Kutcher was also friends with Brittany Murphy, who also was friends with P. Diddy, who also died the same death as Kim Porter. Now, Ashton Kutcher as well also runs a child protection thing, I think it's called Fawn, where he's trying to save children But we've known now a lot of these people use this thing for child trafficking to actually not expose it, but to gain from their own benefit. He was also married to Demi Moore, and there was a video of Demi Moore kissing a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old boy. I just feel as if there's a lot of darkness around these people. I feel as if they feel as if they're untouchable. I genuinely think he could be next Ashton Kutcher.
Freak? I would say he's definitely a freak.
I heard some wild stories. I heard he had like...
We all heard that.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Then, come on, I want to hear what you heard.
I mean, I heard that he had this dude Ashton Kutcher bent over.
Now I'm gonna tell you the truth. Him and Ashton Kutcher was really tight. We used to go to his crib. He had a penthouse on 74th and 8th Avenue in Central Park.
Reports suggest an alleged subpoena for Ashton Kutcher may already exist, explaining his silence despite growing rumors. Despite the ongoing allegations, Kutcher has remained quiet, and criminal defense attorneys speculate that this is likely due to advice from federal authorities. His silence may be a strategic move to avoid further complications or legal ramifications while the investigation unfolds.
They could subpoena Ashton Kutcher to provide information, right? And that's something we have been wondering. You know, a big talking point is, well, why didn't that you have these federal agents that swarm these properties? Sometimes a raid like that is in conjunction with an indictment and arrest. Here, it's not the case. I'm of the opinion they're still in the evidence gathering phase. They have to process everything that was recovered from the homes, but I also was suspecting that they're issuing subpoenas to a lot of people right now to get a better understanding of what that looks like. And if that's the case, and Ashton Kutcher was issued a subpoena, then no wonder he wouldn't be saying anything about Diddy right now either, right?
Well, that's right. And, let's underline the significance of those raids, okay? We have the Fourth Amendment that says that unreasonable searches and seizures are prohibited in this country. Federal agents can't simply legally barge into someone's home without having persuaded a judge to issue a warrant, to sign off on a warrant application. So, that's, and it's not something that you do early on in an investigation if you don't have enough support to justify.
In 2019, Ashton Kutcher was a suspect in a murder case involving a girl he planned to date. While he testified in the trial and was later found innocent, some people believe his involvement was covered up. The case remains controversial, with lingering questions about the circumstances surrounding his connection to the crime.
Her name was Ashley Ellen, and they were actually going on a date the night that she was found dead. Ashton Kutcher told the court that he screwed up on the night that his girlfriend was horrifically murdered. He told the judge that he was freaking out after learning that Ashley was butchered the same evening they were due to go on a date. Ashton even saw his date's blood splattered on the carpet, which he put down to a red wine stain when he was looking through the window trying to check if she was home, because her car was there, the lights were on, yet she wasn't answering the door. Ashley was a fashion student, and she actually met Ashton at a Christmas party, but at that point he was in a relationship. Once he became single, he called her up and asked her.
Chrissy Bixler, one of Danny Masterson's victims, claims that on the night of the murder, Ashton Kutcher attempted to meet up with the victim, then allegedly called Masterson and confessed his involvement in the crime. Bixler states she overheard the entire conversation and believes Ashton Kutcher is guilty. Her testimony adds to the growing suspicions surrounding Kutcher's potential connection to the crime.
Just think the story ends here, but no, it continues. Because Danny Masterson's accuser details an alleged call with Ashton Kutcher the night his date was murdered. Chrissy wrote in a statement on Instagram, "Dear Ashton, I know the secrets your role model keeps for you. Ones that will end you. Did you forget I was there? You were on speaker that night you called Danny on February 21st, 2001. I heard everything. I heard the plan. In my opinion, you're just as sick as your mentor." And that was the day that Ashley lost her life. So why did Ashton call Danny, and what did he have to tell him?
This guy, Michael, the serial killer, was able to go do it again because the cops weren't able to actually process the case because they knew Ashton Kutcher was indeed lying. So what was he lying about? Well, here's Chrissy Bixler, who's coming in, who was dating Danny Masters at the time. You actually know your secrets, your role model keeps for you, ones that would end you. Did you forget I was there? You were on speakerphone the night you called Danny on February 21st, 2001. I heard everything. I heard the plan. In my opinion, you're just as sick as your mentor. Now, what was this plan? Yes, he was in his car for over an hour outside of Ashley's house, speaking with his manager about what to do to protect Ashton's career and reputation. He then called Danny. I heard the entire conversation. Law enforcement was and is aware of what I'm...
The relationship between Ashton Kutcher and Diddy is quite dubious, and there was clearly something shady going on behind the scenes in 2003. Intriguingly, Diddy is being sued by an unidentified Jane Doe, who alleges that Diddy raped her during an MTV Awards afterparty in 2000. Ashton Kutcher and Diddy even invited 13-year-old Davy Chase to Diddy's MTV afterparty.
So good, you're doing so good.
I just want to say, everyone will suffer. Hey, MTV Rock! When the MTV Movie Award.
Come to the after party tonight.
Yes!
Come to the after party tonight.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over punked, because he was like, yo,
don't punk
you
me.
can't punk me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you, everybody's on the table. He's like, not me, I'm off the table. And so that started our conversation. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out.
Given the mounting allegations against Ashton Kutcher and his connection to the accused rapist Diddy, it's understandable why Ashton might be worried. Even if he didn't commit any wrongdoing, it's still a tough situation. What's more concerning is that Ashton invited Diddy to his company, which works with the FBI to combat child sex trafficking. For a company dedicated to stopping such crimes to welcome an alleged sex trafficker is shocking, raising serious questions about his judgment.
I've been on FBI raids where I've seen things that no person should ever see. I've seen video content of a child that's the same age as mine being raped by an American man that was a sex tourist in Cambodia. And this child was so conditioned by her environment that she thought she was engaging in play. But the right to pursue happiness for so many is stripped away. It's raped. It's abused. It's taken by force, fraud, or coercion. It is sold for the momentary happiness.
Excluding Danny Masterson, Ashton's own actions, and Ashton Kutcher's ex-wife Demi Moore also have a poor record when it comes to children. A recently discovered video purports to be from a 1982 birthday party for her former General Hospital co-star Philip Tanzini, and it shows her kissing him at the age of 14. It also shows her saying, "I love Philip," even though she was married to Freddie Moore at the time.
Okay, one more time.
Why do you think everybody's come out?
I don't know. Maybe just because I love them all and I hope they all love me.
We do love him.
And I love them.
If you think it's for the quick publicity, you're out of your mind.
Absolutely, because he's one of my most favorite people.
How long have you been working on the show?
Almost a month and a half.
What's your role?
I'm Lucy Love.
And I'm Philip Tanzini, and I play Jeremy, and you're stealing my card. I'm Oh, okay.
Because I love Philip, and he's the only one I love.
Do your interview already.
All right. I'm Lucy Love, but personally, I love Philip, and that's it. Okay.
We got our new storyline pretty soon.
have a bite. I want to say happy birthday to Philip because I love him dearly. He's one of my most favorite people. For about 3 weeks. And he's been terrific.
The situation in a recent interview, Demi Moore, who also experienced sexual abuse as a child, disclosed that her mother sold her to a man for $500 and allowed him to sexually abuse her. She said that Mary Ashton Kutcher is crazy.
Just teen, she is taken by her mother to bars so that men will notice them. She's 15 when she comes home one night and an older man they know is in the apartment with the key. She writes, it was rape and a devastating betrayal, revealed by the man's cruel question, how does it feel to be whored by your mother for $500?
Do you believe she sold you?
I think in my deep heart, no. I don't think it was a straightforward transaction, but she still did give him the access and put me in harm's way.
In a recently leaked call, Diddy is heard discussing his facilitators with an unnamed party, expressing anger at Ellen for trying to escape to England and not supporting him. Reports suggest that Ashton Kutcher may be planning to flee to Europe, and it's possible Diddy is trying to prevent him from leaving, potentially to avoid further complications.
Think I wasn't gonna get at you from the inside?
He has reached out to a witness, an alleged participant in multiple freak-offs.
Then why Oprah staying quiet? Why Ellen moving to another country?
And he's asking people to intimidate witnesses or pay people off.
Don't be shocked if nobody show up to testify. Don't contact me anymore, pup. I already got that Houston lawyer breathing down my neck over that 13-year-old girl. If you don't want things to get worse for you, then you need to start answering my son's phone call.
The defendant's goal is to blackmail victims and witnesses either into silence or providing testimony helpful to his defense.
New York is having a problem with leaks in this Diddy case, with alleged video of the court hearings already on the internet and leaked phone calls where he's calling witnesses. Things are getting out of control and you won't believe what he says on these calls. Recently, the DA released that Diddy was contacting witnesses from jail and they were saying this is the reason that he shouldn't get bail. He was using other inmates' phone calls to three-way people who would then call the witnesses, and that's who he spoke to over the phone. Also, in a weird turn of events, the DA who brought these charges against Diddy is suddenly resigning from his position during the biggest case of his career, and that is strange. So let's break down this insane phone call that we found online. Legal disclaimer, people, I'm just a guy that reacts to stuff I find on the internet. So as of right now, everything is rumors, gossip, or opinions of others. Everything in this video is just...
The latest on Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors are accusing Combs of trying to contact prospective witnesses and obstruct the case against him. Our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Kotursky, is here with more on that. Good morning to you, Aaron.
Good morning, Robin. Sean Combs is going to be asking a judge this week to release him on bail, but prosecutors now say the argument for detention has only gotten stronger. This morning, federal prosecutors are accusing Sean Diddy Combs of escalating his attempts to influence the jury pool and subvert his criminal case. Almost immediately after arriving at the federal jail in Brooklyn, prosecutors say Combs started using telephone accounts of at least 8 other inmates to call people not on his approved contact list. Prosecutors allege Combs frequently instructs family members and his attorneys to add other individuals via three-way call, which is not allowed. On some of those calls, prosecutors say Combs is explicit about his intention to use public statements to sway potential jurors, including this Instagram post by Diddy's kids.
Happy birthday to Daddy.
Prosecutors say Combs enlisted family members to plan and execute a social media campaign around the defendant's birthday, the first time we heard his voice from behind bars.
Oh, thank y'all for being strong and thank y'all for being by my side and supporting me. I love y'all. I got the best family in the world.
Prosecutors say Combs then monitored audience engagement.
Believe it or not, Diddy's lawyers are now distancing themselves from him, recognizing that his situation is dire. Anthony Rico, a top death penalty attorney on Diddy's team, has filed a motion with Judge Aaron Superin to withdraw, citing his inability to continue representing Diddy. This move reflects growing concerns among his legal team about the potential collateral damage from Diddy's legal troubles.
I'm fine. It's a difficult circumstance. He's making the best of the situation.
A situation one of Diddy's attorneys won't be part of moving forward. Anthony Rico announcing in court docs, under no circumstances can he continue defending the embattled rapper.
This is a serious proceeding with serious consequences, and all of us are addressing it accordingly.
In a motion filed on Thursday, Rico stopped short of revealing why he's stepping down from Diddy's legal team, just months ahead of the music mogul's scheduled trial date in May for sex trafficking and racketeering charges, all of which Diddy's denied.
You know, Dr. King called it the law of unintended consequences. So sometimes the more you push a person down, the stronger they get.
That's Rico speaking up late last year for his now former client. ET's learned the attorney's exit will not affect Diddy's other attorneys, nor their defense strategy.
I told Mr. Combs I'm going to try and get his case to trial as quickly as possible. He has been ready to defend this case since he first found out about this case. Nothing has changed from his perspective.
You're going to hear about my party. They're going to be shutting them down. They're going to probably be arresting me.
After Diddy was arrested, Rico said he provided a high level of legal representation, but now, for reasons unknown, he can under no circumstances effectively serve in the upcoming trial.
Nobody's okay with staying in jail.
After Anthony Rico quit, Diddy's legal team filed to suppress evidence recovered during the raid on his Miami mansion, including the freak-off tapes held by the FBI. If the judge grants the motion, Diddy could face serious consequences. Many of his former friends are willing to testify against him, fearing they're on the tapes and worried about their own involvement.
Diddy Combs looking to suppress evidence in his federal trial. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Kutcher is back with the story. Good morning again, Aaron.
And to you, Michael, you'll remember federal agents from Homeland Security Investigations were hardly shy when they raided Sean Combs' opulent homes in Los Angeles and Miami, guns drawn. The jailed music mogul now argues those searches and other searches of his iCloud accounts, electronic devices, and New York City hotel room following his arrest were unconstitutional. His lawyers argue evidence obtained through those searches must be suppressed. Diddy's lawyers say the government presented a grossly distorted picture of reality when applying for the search warrants, omitting certain facts and including salacious details from an unnamed producer that were never credible. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. The defense is also arguing here his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was a willing participant in drug-fueled sex performances called freak-offs, not coerced as prosecutors allege.
I just heard about that. But you heard about the reports that Ashton Kutcher, he's worried that Diddy might lie on his friends? You heard about that?
But that's what I've been saying. I said, if the federal government wanted somebody more than they want Diddy, if he has some information about some people that they would rather have other than him, he's able to get that information to them. But they gotta want it. They gotta want it. And Ashton Kutcher and him they were real tight. One time, me, him, Ashton Kutcher went to a Nets game and we met Jay-Z there. You know what I'm saying? So they were close, they was cool.
But you think Diddy would do something like that? Lie on other celebrities?
Well, why would it have to be a lie? Because if he get caught in he gonna be as truthful as possible. You understand? He's gonna give them enough information, whereas that it's gonna make him look like the choir boy. So Ashton Kutcher, he has a right to be kind of alarmed if he was doing things with Diddy. Remember they used to have that group called the what do they call it? The Brat Pack? With Diddy, him, and a couple other guys was hanging out. Leonardo, one other guy too. I forgot the other guy's name. So they all might be worried.
For him to come out with that comment, I mean, that is suspect. It sounds like he's worried that Diddy might give up some information.
That's why. That's why he made that statement. To set it up. To set up the atmosphere that, yo, this guy's gonna lie on us. This guy ain't gonna tell the truth on us. But what we know is that wherever Diddy went, His tape recorders went. His camera equipment was working. He was videotaping everything. So they might have that videotape all.
Diddy is suing NBC News for $100 million after they released a documentary detailing his crimes. He's determined to send a message that he will go after anyone who tries to expose him. While Diddy may be facing legal trouble, his wealth and influence remain powerful, and he intends to use them to protect himself.
For blackmail material, they'd bring in these people. A lot of these people were also aspiring young artists in the music industry. And then these parties were sponsored by Motown Records CEO, Universal Records CEO. This goes all the way to the top. And so you get these people in compromising situations. The drinks were laced, the videotapes were hot. And then at the end of the day, you wake up the next morning, what did I do? And then they have compromising material on you. And then they can guide your career. They could kill your career, but they got you. And it wasn't just people in the music business. As you said, there were athletes, there were celebrities, there were politicians, people from the royal family. And we were also told by the former bodyguard that Diddy was an FBI informant. Whoa. So he was a snitch and was feeding information to the feds. And we don't know what that means. We haven't been able to confirm it, but even Little Rod said it's not just like Epstein. It could be worse than Jeff.
Fox News host Jesse Waters believes Ashton Kutcher will be called to testify. According to Waters, Fox News has received credible information about a possible subpoena being issued, and reportedly Kutcher has already agreed to testify in the upcoming trial. This development adds to the growing speculation surrounding Kutcher's involvement in the case.
Starts and the jury sits. Will they be shown these tapes?
100%.
Will they have to watch it in court? Like during
100% in court in front of a room of people. And so that's the other thing that's awful. They are going to be watching basically porn for hours on end in front of people. So in front of victim one, whoever it may be, there's going to be porn played in the federal courtroom.
And victim one would have been made aware of this.
Oh, 100%. She's probably being told right now, like, this is going to be played in open court. Your sex history, your sex life is going to be talked about in open court. All of this.
And presumably then she knows that and she's pushing forward because she hasn't withdrawn.
But don't forget this. It doesn't matter if she does or she doesn't. This isn't the civil case. This is the criminal case. So she could flat out tell the federal government, I don't want to participate. And they can say, we don't care. This is a crime. Crimes are against the United States, not against them. Keep calling her victim one, but don't forget, she's a witness to a crime. So it doesn't matter if she went to them in today and said, I'm not participating. Their response, we don't care. Get you.
Matters worse for Diddy. Prosecutors have added 2 more victims and 4 additional years to his criminal indictment. While the identities of these new witnesses remain unknown, it's clear that Diddy's career is finished. None of his defenses will hold up once the jury sees him on tape. 8 of these tapes have already been handed over to the FBI, with hundreds more circulating on the dark web, further damaging his chances of escape.